Guys, in this video I explain what the Ukraine sponsorship scheme is, who is entitled to make an application under such a scheme, and also what rules the applicants, those who are outside the UK, and the sponsors, those who are inside the UK, need to satisfy in order to succeed in this application. And if you decide that this scheme is for you and you would like to make an application, at the end of this video I explain how you can get a full instance free access to the online course which I've created for those who would like to make an application under this scheme. The online course which I've created consists of 3 parts, and there I explain first of all the rules, secondly I explain the procedure, how to complete the application form step by step. I show you exactly how to fill in certain parts of the application form, and also how to upload the documents in support of the application. And finally I show you which documents you need to submit together with the application. I also created a bonus section where I explain how to deal with various types of delays. And by the way, the tools which I'm revealing in this section are very effective for any types of delays in visa applications. And finally, in this online course, I explain what steps you need to take after your application has been allowed, or what you can do if the application is not successful. So let us begin. In order to succeed in your application, you need to understand the rules, and let me explain what these rules are. First of all, I would like to concentrate on explaining what the Ukrainian sponsorship scheme is, and then I'll talk about the rules for the applicants, those who are applying from outside the UK, the sponsors, the hosts who kindly agreed to allow the applicants to live at their place. The Ukrainian sponsorship scheme allows Ukrainian nationals and their family members to come to the UK if they have a named sponsor who provides accommodation. So just to be clear, this particular scheme is not for family members of UK citizens or someone who has indefinite leave to remain, who has a settled status, or who has a limited leave to remain under Appendix EU, or a refugee status or humanitarian protection. This is someone who doesn't have any relatives here in the UK with a settled status and just found a sponsor who has accommodation and who is willing to provide this accommodation. And what are the benefits of applying under this scheme? Well, first of all, it's free to apply. Secondly, if it is allowed, then the applicants will be allowed to live, work and study here in the UK, as well as claim benefits. So they will be allowed to access benefits, and if the application is successful, first of all, they will be granted a visa, or it's known as entry clearance, for 6 months, and once they're here in the UK, they will need to apply for a biometric residence card, which will be valid for 3 years. And another benefit, there is no English language requirement, which is usually a requirement for the majority of the immigration applications, but not with this one for obvious reasons. Switching is a legal process which allows those who are already in the UK in one immigration category to switch to another immigration category. So, for example, when someone came here as a student and then they got married, they married a British citizen, and then they will need to switch to another immigration category. From a student, they will need to switch to the spouse of a British citizen. So, in certain circumstances, such switching is not allowed. And because there are a number of people who ask me this question, I think we need to concentrate on this so that you understand how this works. The very frequent question which I'm asked is, if I have a visitor's visa here in the UK, will it be better for me to travel to the UK as a visitor and then switch to this particular Ukraine sponsorship scheme? The answer is, at the time of recording of this course, is no. Unfortunately, you will not be allowed to switch to this particular scheme. What is allowed is for someone to apply under the Ukraine extension scheme. Let me explain what the eligibility requirements are for this scheme. First of all, the person will need to be a Ukrainian citizen, and secondly, they will need to prove that they had a permission to be in the UK, they had a visa to be here on 18th of March 2022.
or if the person previously had permission to stay in the UK but it expired on or after 1st of January 2022. As you can see, this particular extension scheme is aimed at those who were in the UK with the permission to stay on 18th of March 2022, or when they were here and their visa expired. So if you are traveling, let's say in October, then you'll be expected to apply under the correct scheme, under the Ukraine sponsorship scheme, as opposed to traveling here as a visitor and then switching under the Ukraine extension scheme, because at the moment it doesn't look that this will be allowed. But what if you are already in the UK, let's say as a visitor or as a temporary worker? What can you do? Well, at this stage, according to the Home Office guidance, what they say that you can switch, for example, if you're here as a visitor, you can switch to another immigration category if you meet the requirements. They will exceptionally allow visitors to switch in the UK, which normally is not allowed. So usually they will expect visitors to leave the country and apply in other immigration categories. So exceptionally for Ukrainian citizens, they do allow to switch. However, they will expect those who would like to switch to meet the requirements. So for example, if someone is here as a visitor and they would like to switch to a student immigration category, they will need to meet the requirements. And there are certain rules with regards to seasonal workers, which will be allowed to extend their visa until 31st of December 2022. But usually, if a person is already here, they will not be allowed to switch to the Ukraine sponsorship scheme visa, and when switching, they will be expected to meet the requirements. Guys, I strongly suggest that you consider these rules. If you're outside the UK, I suggest that you apply under the correct category in order not to have any difficulty extending your visa here in the UK. Okay, let us talk about the rules for the applicants. The applicants are those who are applying from outside the UK in order to remain in the UK. So these are Ukrainian citizens or their close family members. First of all, they will have to be a Ukrainian citizen or an immediate family member of Ukrainian citizens. An immediate family is a spouse or a civil partner, unmarried partner who have been living together with their partner for 2 years, children under the age of 18, or parents if the person is over the age of 18, and also if we have fiancés or proposed civil partners. The applicants will have to be over the age of 18, and if they are under the age of 18, unfortunately, they will only be allowed to enter the country if they're traveling together with their parents. And with regards to the residency rules, they will need to prove that they have been residing in Ukraine on or before 1st of January 2022. And just to draw your attention here that you can apply from any country in the world as long as you can prove that you have been residing in Ukraine before that time. I had a number of applications where people had difficulty proving their residence. In particular, I had a case where we had a student, and because she was dependent on her family members, she didn't have any official documents in her name. So therefore, she had difficulty proving that she was residing in her country of origin. So what I did in that application, I provided her Ukrainian passport, and I've explained that she was habitually resident in Ukraine, and because she was financially dependent on her parents, she didn't get any letters in her name, so she didn't have any statements, bank statements, or any other correspondence in her name. And I would like to reassure you that the Home Office is aware that sometimes it's not possible to provide any official documents confirming residence, and therefore all you have to do is to explain this in a letter. So these were our rules with regards to the applicants. And with regards to the sponsor, there are also certain rules. First of all, our sponsor can be of any nationality. So it doesn't really matter whether or not they are a British citizen or they have any other nationality, so anyone can apply. They will usually be expected to be over the age of 18, and they will need to provide documents confirming and that they are allowed to lawfully reside here in the UK, and they have a leave to enter or remain. So in other words, they have a visa for at least 6 months. And of course, they will need to show evidence confirming confirming that they have accommodation and at least one spare bedroom will be available for the applicant's sole occupancy. So if the applicant is applying alone, usually they will not be expected to share the room with anyone else. Usually they'll be expected to have a room by themselves. Guys, with regards to accommodation, another very frequently asked questions which I get is, does the sponsor need to apply under the Homes for Ukraine scheme in order to qualify? Well, the Home Office says that usually they are not required to register under the scheme, but in practice what I've noticed is when the sponsors register under the Homes for Ukraine scheme, these applications are processed much quicker, and also they get their payments much quicker as well. So if you are submitting the application, although it is not a legal requirement, it is advisable to register your interest as a sponsor. If the sponsor is applying as an individual, he'll need to click this button, Start Now as an individual, and register their interest. And if they're living in the rented accommodation, first of all, the rent agreement will need to be valid for at least 6 months, and secondly, you'll need to get a letter from a landlord confirming that they are agreeable to the sponsor joining you in the property. And the Home Office will also be checking and ensuring that the property is not statutory overcrowded. Let me show you how to ensure that the property is not overcrowded. So what's happened in one of my applications, there was a 1-bedroom flat and a person wanted to come to the UK together with their brother, and the sponsor and the applicants were in the relationship, so they were boyfriend and girlfriend, so they wanted to live in a 1-bedroom and they wanted the brother to live in the sitting room. And when a local council visited the accommodation, they said it's not possible, first of all because the sponsor and the applicant could not share 1 bedroom, and secondly because the property was small and 3 people could not live in a 1-bedroom flat. So what's happened after that? I wrote a letter to the council explaining that first of all there is no requirements for the sponsor and the applicant not to be in the relationship, so which was not argued, so they've accepted that, well, they can be in the relationship. They were not in the relationship for 2 years. They could not apply as partners in durable relationship, so the only way for the applicant to join the sponsor was to apply under the Ukraine sponsorship scheme. With regards to their refusal to accept the accommodation as a suitable accommodation because the property was overcrowded, I'll show you what my arguments were, and I'll show you how I've successfully argued that the property was not actually overcrowded. So if you go to your browser and you type Housing Act 1985, section 326, and you go to the legislation.gov.uk website, and you'll find legislation for the space standards. And as you can see here at section 326, they have a table where they explain whether or not the property will be overcrowded. Just to be clear, guys, first of all, those who are over the age of 10 cannot share 1 bedroom if they are of an opposite sex. So boy and girl over the age of 10 cannot share the bedroom. If they're under the age of 10, they can, and they will be considered as half a unit. So this is rule number 1. And the second rule is living room can be counted as a separate bedroom. So this means that if a person lives in a 1 bedroom and they have 1 sitting room and 1 bedroom, this will be counted as a property containing 2 rooms. And as you can see, according to this table over here, 3 people can live in a 1-bedroom apartment because 1-bedroom apartment consists of 2 rooms, a bedroom and a living room, which can be counted as a separate bedroom for the purposes of making your visa application. Going back to the example which I've given you, the boyfriend and the girlfriend could share 1 bedroom and the brother could live in the 2nd room. So according to the section 326, the property was perfectly fine. It was not overcrowded, and I've written to local council and I've explained why their decision was wrong, and I asked them to reconsider their decision, which they did, and they've allowed the application. And finally, the sponsor will need to prove that they meet the suitability requirements. So in other words, that they are of good character and it is perfectly safe for the applicant to join them in the UK. And the way to meet the suitability requirements is to undertake the DBS checks. I suggest that you do this as soon as possible because it takes time for you to do the DBS checks. DBS checks, in simple words, is known as requesting a copy of your criminal record. In order for you to request a copy of your police records, you can go to your browser and type request a basic DBS check. And this is the website you need. You will need to apply now online. This is a very straightforward and simple procedure. I suggest that you do this as soon as you intend to apply. And it costs £18, but local council will return this money once the application is approved. Guys, and this was also a part of the course where I explained the rules. If you'd like to watch the entire course in a second, I'm going to explain how you can get a free instant access to it.
Over the years, I have been creating various online courses explaining to my audience how to submit various types of UK visa applications. So if you click the link below, you will get free instant access to this online course as well as all my other online courses. In fact, you'll be taken to an amazing platform which is called Skillshare. Skillshare is the online learning platform with thousands of courses and classes taught by the experts to help you learn new skills. I'm personally subscribed to Skillshare and I absolutely love the online courses. I really enjoy them. So if you click the link below, you'll be able to get the first month of your subscription completely free. So during this month, you can watch this online course about the Ukraine sponsorship scheme and also any other of my online courses and also courses of other providers. And if after using the Skillshare platform for 1 month, you decide that this is not for you, you can unsubscribe. And if you do this within less than 1 month, you will not be charged a penny. But if you really try this platform, I'm sure that you will not unsubscribe because it's an amazing platform. So I hope to see you on the other side.